We have set out on a mission to send darkness to light, bringing relief to dark energy, spirits, and in turn, those suffering in this third dimension. Lead investigator, paranormal navigator, and healing facilitator, Natalie Jones.
Some of them get really creepy looks on their faces.
Paranormal navigator and investigator, Nicole Hansen.
A darker male voice said, yes.
On one
Psychic
side, there's
medium
the
and
words
paranormal
that
researcher,
Satan told him,
Char
and
Louise.
then on the other side, there were that he was listening to the words.
Hi, I'm Genevieve
Equipment
Prather.
tech,
Yes.
builder,
I own
and
IBC
paranormal
devices.
researcher,
I'm the creator,
J.W.
owner,
Prather.
builder, everything.
Our friend Joe.
Still photographer, Joey Davis Jr.
Photos and camera.
Join us as we embark on a journey to dispel darkness and uncover truth in the paranormal field never gone before.
Oh my God! Yo, Natalie!
Another thing that she saw was that there's this tall white man, and he's got white hair. He wears a black top hat and a long black coat, and he carries a whip, and he's very mean, and he terrorizes and abuses the Native American children. So what happened? What she saw was that they were ripped from the arms of their mothers when they were attacked and they invaded them. I had an impression also that came through, and the words were very clear, and it was they were exploded. So it was really interesting how those words came together. Then we got that email from Michelle about the invasion and the attacks, and then Char saw what she saw about that tall white man with the whip. Our paranormal researcher, Michelle Chasky, uncovers shocking history on this land, including attacks on Native American soil. So that's what we pieced together, is that they were invaded, this settlement. The children, Native American children, were ripped out of the hands of their mothers, and she actually saw a group of them nude being whipped. She started crying uncontrollably. So they just need relief. They need to be sent to where they need to go so that they can resume, their eternal progression, find peace and unconditional love. They're trapped here in the third dimension of spiritual plane by the negativity that keeps them here. So once we release that negativity, then I just got chills. Then they'll find the relief that they need. Days prior, our psychic medium, Char Louise, receives messages that completely blew this case wide open. Are you the tall man in the long black coat with the black top hat that's terrorizing and abusing these poor children? You need to leave these children alone. We're going to send them back to the light out of your grasp, along with their mothers, and then we will deal with you. My final interview with the child is nothing less than mind-blowing. Natalie, can I talk to you for a minute? Do you ever see a man here that's not your daddy? You do? What does he look like? Can you talk loud and tell me what he looks like? He wears a hat. What color is that hat?
Gray.
Gray? Yeah. Is it dark gray? Almost like black? Or, yeah. What else does he look like?
Strong.
He's strong. Does that mean, when you say strong, does that mean he's big and tall?
Yes.
Yeah. Does he wear anything else? Do you see him besides a hat? Anything else?
This.
He wears this? Like a big old coat. Would that be? Does he wear a big long coat?
Yes.
One big piece?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you know his name?
His name is.
They call him Mr.
She said I said that is a man in there, and she said he's very big, okay, and that he's mean, yeah, and that's
He
it.
rules by force.
Yeah, and
They call him Mr. And what came through on this is Master, Brave, and Force.
Why don't you look at this picture and tell me if you've seen him?
Yes, that was him
Where was him?
in my closet.
2 weeks prior, we began a case leading us down a rabbit hole where we discovered quickly there would be multiple types of activity to deal with independent of each other.
Okay, I am about to call Amy Rosnowski. I spoke with her and her family over the weekend, and they have uncovered quite a bit of detail about what's been going on in the household. And after a couple of days of speaking with the team and coming to an understanding of what's going on and being able to understand through our own experiences as a spiritual conduit, medium, psychic, and our own abilities and our ways, we have feeling the energy, have been able to definitely pinpoint that there's some sort of malevolent attachment. So once I explained to her that that I knew what was going on and that she did in fact have an attachment, she said it makes sense and that she feels a lot better about knowing that, at least knowing that that's exactly what's going on, because that's the suspicion that she did have in the first place. So I'm going to be calling her now and speaking with her in more detail about her past and see if we can't come up with some more details that will help us know exactly where this attachment came from and why it's feeding off of her specifically.
It's been pretty difficult lately, and I'm having a really hard time. And you're going to hear me stutter a lot. You're going to hear a lot of, and I don't know, it's probably, I'm having a hard time communicating, so I kind of isolated myself. Because I generally, my communication isn't like that. And that's been happening for a couple months. And, I don't know what's going on. I think, maybe the past couple of months it's been pretty bad. It's gotten worse. And within the past week, it's gotten so bad that I can't feel like I'm having a hard time functioning.
Do you feel like that ever since we reached out, it's gone full force?
Yes. Ever since, it's funny you said that because I was saying that earlier, because ever since my husband contacted you guys and I spoke with you the other day, I've been breathing hard. I've been having a hard time with my breathing. Ever since, it seems like ever since I talked to you, it's just been heavier for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know. I know that I can't continue like this.
Yes, that is normal with, with negative dark energy. That's its way of lashing out, because its number one fear is to not be able to, feed off of whatever emotions that you're going through. And that's how they work. They slowly deteriorate you over time.
Right. There's a lot of things that I haven't really dealt with. A lot of traumatic things that have happened in my life that I haven't dealt with. I've just kind of pushed them down, trying to forget about it, and it moved on. It actually, to other people, it looks like I've moved on, but I know that I haven't. But I just try to forget about it. So just push it down and go on. I have an anxiety about everything. I have anticipation. It's the smallest things. Just taking my daughter around the corner to her little preschool, I have anxiety about, because I stutter a lot.
Okay.
I stop. I will stop. I'll start to say something. I'll stop, and I'll have to really think about what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're feeling and everything, because I've been feeling you in your energy since Saturday. So I know exactly what that debilitating anxiety is that almost brings you to tears. And then I feel what you were feeling when you have no motivation and so lethargic. It's like the thought of doing anything scares you almost. there's been also some more stuff going on behind the scenes with some of my team members, and that's how we were able to pinpoint this attachment. And the good news is that we have all of the tools that we need to come in and not only, relieve you of this attachment, but also the biggest part of this whole thing, and that's going to be so life-changing and transformational for you, is to be able to go through and do that burden regression therapy and retrieve your fragmented spirit so that nothing like this can ever come back to rear its ugly head.
Yes, by casting them out, they're not only able to come back and wreak havoc, but elsewhere. Once that attachment is gone, then the journey to heal from within can begin. And as a person begins to heal and release the darkness within and retrieve those fragmented spirits, then eventually they will not have that any type of ability for any dark influence to come back and have that type of effect on them.
Within 2 days, we were facing a very urgent situation.
We are working on a residential case right now that has become extremely serious. There is a child that's being possessed, and we have uncovered a serious double attachment that is attached to the wife. And as we were planning in-person interviews, we received a text from the husband who is nervous and fearful to reach out to us and give us any details, because every time that he does, something serious happens in regards to paranormal activity, and specifically with his wife. I am now going to give him a call and see exactly what's going on that he did not feel comfortable with through text message.
It's been really messing with Amy, and we caught Sasha last night talking to somebody, and then talking about the death and kill again at 4 years old, and then singing some kind of song that there's no way she could have learned it anywhere. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was weird.
Okay.
And yesterday, Amy was outside. I was in the back room, and I heard some music, and I thought Amy was playing something out there where she was at. And then she came in a little later, and she asked me if her cousin had come back in the house, or if he was back home. And I said, well, if he is, I didn't see him come in. And I said, why? And she says, he's playing his music up there. And about that time, I heard right above this loud footsteps, like somebody was up there. So I got up and went upstairs because I just knew somebody's up there. I knew I didn't see him come in, but somebody was up there playing music and not necessarily stomping around, but heavy-footed. And the door was closed when I got up there. And as I was coming around the wall to go up the stairs, the music was turning up, getting louder. By the time I got to the top of the stairs, got to the room where it was coming from, I knocked on the door, opened it up, and went on in, nobody in there.
Okay.
Then I turned the thing back off, what the music was playing on. I turned it off, and it had no power, so I turned it on, and it kept playing. And it finally stopped. And it was right after Amy was going through one of these spells, and she's starting to smell something. A rank smell. I can't smell it yet. It just come around her off and on every time, like we talk to y'all or something.
Mm-hmm.
It escalates. And that's what I was going to tell you about the music. She kind of had one of her episodes, where she couldn't breathe, and she could just tell something was messing with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put on the TV what you sent me, and started letting it play,
Mm-hmm.
so the cleanse or the prayer protection or whatever it was.
Okay.
All that music just started right after that went on. So we made it bad. I'm thinking we made it bad.
Okay.
And we were reciting to ourselves while we were repeating what we were saying, not out loud. And, or at least I was sure she was, that I was wanting something to not let her go through whatever.
I think we're having some static. Something doesn't like what's going on right now because I'm having a hard time understanding you.
Okay, well, it's probably interference.
Yeah, it is. There's some interference. For tonight, do you have anywhere where Sasha could go spend the night?
Yep.
Okay. If that would be the most ideal situation, a team member and I are going to do some work with the attachment and see if we can't get it to go to the light here in a few hours.
With success, Natalie and Charlouise send the devil attachment to the light.
He was shouting. I could hear him shout. He was flipping the middle finger. I mean, he was like F you, and just flipping, and just just really trying to, he was just like, so his hands were like this. I could see his hands like this, like, no. And he was that angry, like, fuck you. And, you lie. And he was just like, doing all those things. And, she told him that he was deceived by Satan. She told him he was deceived and, was given an empty promise, pretty much. He was lied to. And he said no. He said no. And he said, you lie. And he said kingdom, because he was promised a kingdom by Satan. Satan promised him he'd have his own kingdom. And that's what he wanted. He thought because he was told that God hated him. He was told God hates him. God's angry with him. He would not be forgiven. That God lies. God's a vengeful God. And he said, God hates. God's mad at me. And Natalie was like, no, God loves you. God's forgiving. And then she told him about the atonement in the law. And he kind of was like, it's like, he went like this with his hand, like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Stop it. I remember him, he put his hand to his head at one time. He was like this, no, stop, when she told him the story about the two lost ones that Satan said that went away, that were saved, they went to the light, that Satan told everyone in his legion that he sent them on a special mission. And what was remarkable was he didn't want to believe what she said by that. And he was kind of taken aback, and he looked confused, and he still was trying to say, no, oh my gosh, those words he said, what's overwhelming me right now are his feelings and his emotions. He said, no, Eli. He said, not true. God's unforgiving. God's a vengeful God. God's angry. He put his hand on his ears. I remember him put his hands over his ears, and he was doing this, and he didn't want to hear it. But then as the more Natalie spoke about the light, the more she spoke, I saw like I've never seen anything so white. I mean, it's not even described to be white. It's almost there. There's no color to describe the brightness that I saw. That started. It came like, and he looked up, and this was when she reiterated the story about the lost ones that or not that Satan lied about sending them on a special mission. I believe those were the faces that appeared to make him back off, to kind of, to he, his eyes widened. I remember him looking up and his eyes widened, and then he put his head down like that. He lowered his head like he couldn't look up again. And then he asked, God loves me, God's forgiving, or God forgive. And Natalie confirmed. I'm just right now what's playing over and over in my head are his emotions, and he began to cry because he was in turmoil with himself, because on one side there's what the words that Satan told him, and then on the other side he was listening to the words or hearing the words Natalie told him. And then when Natalie said, look at the light, look at the light, that's the light, coming down the tunnel, or the light, descending down on him. And he said, he looked up and he went, warm. And and amazingly, single line on the side of the light. It wasn't like a tunnel. It wasn't like a path. It was just like it was like a great wall of light that had almost like a sunbeam that just like shone, like it was like the sunbeam coming through clouds, and it shone. It went over him and over Natalie. And when he looked up, he blinked. He blinked because he couldn't see it. His eyes, when we started this, his eyes were dark. They were black. I mean, like black. But when his eyes looked up and he blinked, and he was able to, like when you look up in the sunlight and you blink and you're doing this, and then all of a sudden you adjust your focus to the light, he focused, like, so when he blinked, his eyes lightened. They were no longer black. I couldn't see the color of his eyes then. I just know they weren't black anymore. And he looked up, and beautifully, I just can't believe I saw what I did. On the side, after the angels lined up, they all had swords. They were blue. blue. They weren't flames, but they looked like, and they weren't electrical. The blades looked blue, as if the blades were translucent, but yet I could see the blue. They were like wavy, but they were just there, and they stood in a line, and they all faced each other. Then at the end of that light, just I couldn't see any, like, I couldn't see any figures or anything, or me personally could, I sensed, like, I could tell like something was coming, but I couldn't see anything. And then they stopped at an arm's length from him. And then I saw what looked, they didn't have a body or a figure. It was just, it's like when they manifested, it was like a light that was so bright, but yet I could see them. It wasn't blinding. But yet it was so soft and so warm and so beautiful, but yet so bright and so like, just incredible. And then out of the light, I saw two hands, literally like two hands, extend. And when they extended their hands, if you and I, it would have been like this. It would have been like this underneath. They had their hands extended like this. But they didn't touch him. They waited for him to accept them, to accept their hand. And he wasn't sure. The lost one was, just did this, and then he held his hand against his chest, and he was shaking his head. But then Raphael took his right hand, and I could see like a faint face appear, like with Raphael. And what I saw of him, he had a strong square jaw, and he had a slender nose. His hair was long. I mean, long, probably as long as mine, or no, just a little bit shorter. I want to say it's a little bit shorter. And, but it was yellow, like there was no color. It was like light, but I could tell because his hair was doing this, waving, but I saw his face clearly. And Raphael still held his hand out to him, and he lowered his head slightly, and he smiled. And Jophiel was with him. Those are the names I was given when I wanted to know who the angels were. Jophiel, Raphael, his name came to me. Jophiel extended his hand, and he still didn't have an expression, but I felt love. Raphael moved his arm out just a little bit further, just a little bit further, and then the lost one held out his hand. Oh, I wish I could do it. And it went like this. He went like this, and Raphael cupped his fingers right here at the fold and took the lost one's hand, and then he nodded like this, and he bowed his head like that, and he smiled. And Jophiel did the same, with his hand. And that I could see them move up into the light.
Now that we had relieved the mother of her attachment, it was time to step foot in the house and address the paranormal activity from the spirits roaming that land.
We are here on location at a home where a family has been experiencing paranormal activity since they built the house 6 years ago. What is truly shocking and rare about this case is that on one hand, you have activity that is in reference to spirits. And as we have been working and uncovering what is really going on in this case, we have found that on the other hand, there has been an attachment. The mother, the wife of this family, has been in turmoil from this attachment. Fortunately, we came in just in time in a very urgent situation, and we have been able to relieve this woman of this attachment. Now we are here on location, and we are here to help these spirits. Please come with us on this journey as we uncover exactly what's going on in more detail from this family.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Throughout
And
this
I-
interview,
yeah,
you
I
will
mean, I
notice
was already
unidentified
to
video
the point where,
interference.
It's debilitating, and then after that, oh my goodness, it got bad. I felt like I was just pulled down. I mean, just weighted down, and I couldn't. Right, it was horrible. Okay, after I got on the phone with you, I felt I've never felt this before. Okay, I was crying, and because at first I wasn't crying, and then I started realizing what was really going on, and I started crying and everything.
And that you had an attachment.
Yes, and I can't even explain it, but I felt all the ugliness and darkness and just everything that's horrible.
Really great.
Yeah, because like when I was on the phone with you, I usually don't cry, and I started crying on the phone with you, and that's I would usually don't do that.
Yeah.
So and then and the reason I didn't call you back is because it
didn't want you to.
Yeah, and I knew it didn't. It was putrid.
Okay.
And I didn't. I mean, I don't know if it's actually like death, like decomposition. I've never smelled that before. But if I was to guess, yes, it would be. And
Right.
it was horrible. And so man, I tell you what, when y'all were doing your thing out there, when y'all started, it felt like there was just a ton of bricks on me.
Ton of bricks on you, pushing you down.
Yes.
So let's take it from here. So when you and I spoke on the phone, I explained to you how attachments form, which is we go through life, and sometimes we go through really traumatic events, and it doesn't mean that it's bad or evil. It's just a part of life. But sometimes the spirit will fragment to protect itself, and when it does, there's these spiritual streamers that come off of our fragments, and that's where dark energy is able to latch on, and they feed off of that specific type of negativity or fear.
Okay. Yeah, I felt it lift off me. I felt that pressure, like something was just on me. I felt it lift up.
Okay.
And then I was still. I felt better, but I was still just freaked out really.
Right.
Because it's something that I've never been through before.
Sure.
About 20 after it, the air in the house, I mean, it just felt lighter.
Cleared out.
It just felt different.
So the dark energy was gone. Now this was about a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Is it completely cleared out?
It seems to be.
But as far as with the spirits aside, the doom, the dark energy
no.
is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we're here because we're here to work on the spirits to help them, give them relief, so that we can in turn bring everyone relief.
We now turn our attention to the second portion of this investigation, where we eventually send all spirits to the light and rid an evil male presence.
So spirits and devils are very real. We've seen them. That's why they are here. When someone, there's two types of spirits. There's those who have once had a body and passed away, and it's the darkness in them that keeps them earthbound here in the third dimension, in the spiritual plane. And that's who we will see when we go on paranormal investigations. They also need help being sent back to the light. They're stuck, if you will. Even innocent spirits like a child, the reason why they're stuck is because that trauma is from whatever event that took them there is still a form of negativity. Any form of negativity has dark nature, is of dark nature. And so that's why once you're able to help them work through that, or they may be confused, then we're able to understand and learn from that.
So we've been able to help with this attachment. We sent the devil to the light. Now let's shift gears. Let's go into the spirits. I want y'all to tell me the activity that's gone on, who's come through as far as, family members that have lived with you. And then I will explain everything to you as far as what we have uncovered as far as the history of the property and the area. And then also some of the other messages that have come through to all of us.
Mm-hmm. He started telling me about these shadows he was seeing upstairs.
Okay.
Walking past his room and this and that. And I kind of, took that kind of with a grain of salt, but
Maybe he's just seeing things and
every night. And but downstairs, I would hear activity upstairs. I just think it was him.
Right.
And in between people up there, we still hear the activity going on upstairs.
So every night your brother would
Pretty
come
much
and he
every
would
night.
see a shadow figure.
A woman.
Okay, a woman. And
And
you
he
could
tell it's a
y'all
woman.
hear the walking going on upstairs?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
We would hear things being dropped, and we'd be like, "What are they doing up there?" There was another time where my daughter and her family was upstairs, and we would hear all this stuff going on. What are they breaking? They're not even here.
They're not even here.
She says they're gone.
Let's start with y'all both said, I believe, that there was reports of a little boy or children as well.
Well, my daughter and them,
Seen
her
around
family
there?
was upstairs.
Okay.
Her youngest son was 7, 8, maybe.
He
He would be at the top of the stairs, and he told us different times that there was a little boy he'd see at the bottom of the stairs, and they'd stand there and just look at each other. And it was a black shadow. You could tell it was a little boy though.
Right.
Just like my brother could tell what he saw was a woman.
Okay.
The 2 boys was out in the garage, sitting out there, and a ball rolled out from under our car, and they heard a voice say, "Want to play?"
Yeah.
And they thought somebody had came outside.
No, it was your brother and who?
No, it was my brother was gone then.
It was his son-in-law and his 2 grandsons.
Okay, so there was
Yes,
3
there
of
was
them.
3 out there
They
together.
all heard
And seen the
the
ball
voice
just
say,
roll.
"Want to play,"
And the
and the
oldest,
ball just rolled out.
And they thought somebody came
Okay.
through the
and
door
the, and
there.
the oldest grandson, because I came out later because I wasn't out there when they were all 3 out there and told Jerry. I went out there later, and Donovan, the oldest grandson, he was 17 at the time. He had this freaked out look on his face. I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And he's like, he goes, "Well, I want to tell you something, but I don't want to freak you out." And I'm like, "What is it?" And I had to kind of get him to tell me. He goes, "Man, we were sitting out here earlier," and he goes, and all of a sudden the ball rolled out underneath the car, and then there's a little boy's voice said, "Want to play?" And I went, "Interesting." And I was like, "No way." He goes, "I swear."
They all heard it. They all
I
3 of them.
swear to God.
Okay. Do you feel that there is a little bit of a heavy lurking presence?
That's what I, yes.
Okay. You feel it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like he's always watching me.
Okay.
So much so that the other night I had Jerry, and I don't like those stairs. They really freak me out. The cat will stare up there. She
Every time you walk by the stairs, going in the garage or into the utility room, you cannot help but look up the stairs.
You get an area.
They kind of look real hard.
It's a weird feeling.
Later, during our investigation, these stairs would prove to be extremely active.
So here's what we uncovered. So our paranormal researcher, Michelle Chasky up in Pennsylvania, she was able to substantiate, which is part of it what we already knew. What she was able to substantiate was that there have been attacks. There's also the water and the water reservoir
Marine Creek.
very close, and so that can act as an amplifier for energy and a conduit
for portals as well. So our before we even got any of this information, our psychic medium Shars, she said that she saw in her mind's eye a portal right here close to the back side of on the right and the back here. So what we're going to do is we're going to close up that portal. But another thing that she saw was that there's this tall white man, and he's got white hair. He wears a black top hat and a long black coat, and he carries a whip, and he's very mean, and he terrorizes and abuses the Native American children. So what happened? What she saw was that they were ripped from the arms of their mothers when they were attacked and they invaded them. I had an impression also that came through.
Man in there, and I said, and she said he's very big, okay, and that he's mean.
Yeah.
And that's
He rules by force.
Yeah, and
They call him Mister, and what came through on this is Master, Brave, and Force. So it substantiates that. But go ahead.
yeah, she's also said that there's a boy and a girl.
From day one, we had researched the history of this land, trying to find answers to exactly who or what was haunting this home.
Hey, Sasha. Do you remember my name? Natalie. Can I talk to you for a minute? Do you ever see a man here that's not your daddy? You do? What does he look like? Can you talk loud and tell me what he looks like?
Crazy hair.
He wears a hat? What color is that hat?
Gray.
Listen closely and you will hear an unidentified voice say yeah right after Sasha does.
Or yeah. What else does he look like?
Strong.
He's strong. Does that mean, when you say strong, does that mean he's big and tall?
Yes.
Yeah. Does he wear anything else? Do you see him besides a hat? Anything else?
This.
He wears this? Like a big old coat.
Watch as a light anomaly shoots from top to bottom.
Like a big old coat. Would that be? Does he wear a big long coat?
Yes.
One big piece?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know his name? Is the tall man, is he nice?
Yes.
Or is he mean?
Mean. She's mean.
Okay. So do you see other children? Do you talk to them?
Yes.
Yeah. Do they talk about the tall man? Well, thank you for telling me about all these cool things.
I love my babies.
I love your little babies. Yes. This one's my favorite. I love the color purple.
What about this one?
Yeah, she's really pretty. What's her name?
Can I spoil her?
As we began our lockdown investigation, we realized just how active this land really was.
What just happened?
So my battery just went from full down to nothing.
So your battery was just completely
Completely
drained.
full and just completely drained.
Okay.
We were getting near the end of the blessing and it started flashing saying it was empty. It's
Okay.
been on the charger all day.
So I just gave Sasha a blessing, and now your camera's been drained. This is classic
Empty battery.
paranormal activity. When there's spirits around or something that does not like what's going on, it will use the energy and the electronics, the battery, and now it's drained your battery. We just got here, and this is our first attempt to contact the spirits that are here. I've got the Ovilus 5. Monaki. What is Monaki? Native American language of the Numic group of Uto-Aztecan languages, the ancestral language of the Mono people. Mono consists of two dialects, Eastern and Western. The name Monaki.
Listen closely after the word violent.
It's the same voice. The same voice. Hold on. Are you of Menaki descent?
Now listen to the audio enhanced.
The word judge just came on the ovilus as well as violent.
And pain slowly around head. And pain slowly around head. And pain slowly around head.
We now turn our attention to the stairs, where the majority of the activity has been reported, including the child communicating with spirits.
Just saw something dancing above you.
It also detects the EMF field, and I have the REM on. It's going off because I'm touching it, but if you can see.
Just saw something dancing above you.
Okay, so you just captured a stick figure?
Mm-hmm. It was above you.
Okay. And did it look like
It looked like it was ascending the stairs above you.
like it ascended the stairs?
Yeah. Either. I just saw it move.
Who is here? Between us and the stairs, are you here?
Can you make out what they are saying?
Between us and the stairs, are you here in between us and the stairs?
As we make our way to the staircase, the activity becomes aggressive.
Where are you sitting? Right here. Can you go ahead and move this needle right here on the tri-field meter, please? You've been sitting here. I felt your energy and your presence. If you're going to use the word kill and head, then let's go. Because I'm not backing down. Now move this needle and use your energy to move it.
Right before I say move the needle, a male voice comes through and sounds like he is screaming at me.
Move the needle. Move the needle.
Remarkably, we then captured 2 light anomalies and an EVP at the foot of the stairs.
There's 2 spirits here. There's one right here in front of me on the stairs, and then another spirit right here behind me. Who are you? There's 2 spirits here. There's one right here in front of me on the stairs, and then another spirit right here behind me. Who are you?
Watch to the left of the screen. You can even hear it as it passes by. Watch as the next light anomaly travels from left to right. Listen as I ask, who are you? A voice whispers, me.
Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?
Remember, we saw 2 light anomalies, and a voice came through and said, me, in response to my question if there was someone standing behind me. Could this in fact be proof that there were 2 spirits intelligently communicating with us?
Is there a man here named Mr.?
As we wrapped up the investigation, we dealt with Mr., sent all spirits to the light, closed up the portal, and found complete relief for this family.
Everything in the house has been great since Ghosthunter Girls came out. everything seems to be just fine. Everything's going good. We are so grateful for them. They did an excellent job. They were very professional, very personable, very patient. They were great. And
How's the house felt since they cleansed it?
it's great. We could tell the first night when we came home.
Tell the difference, can't
Oh
we?
yeah, oh yeah. Everything's been good.
Sasha's been.
And Sasha's been a good girl. She hasn't no more mention of the man or the kids or anything like that.
And no outbreaks or anything like that. No.
No, just
No.
your normal,
No episodes.
Just her normal 4-year-old stuff.
Lots of laughter from her, isn't it?
Yeah.